Hi, Dustin here again. This is this is me. That's my what is that? What do you call this?
Website.
This is my website. If you want to buy a wooden spoon. 5 years ago, I put up on my YouTube channel a presentation titled "Flute Leak Repair." Which you should watch again. This is flute leak repair number 2, starching the pads. It's a new departure and it's wonderful. In my accidentally chosen field of primitive flute repair, this is this is powdered starch. You won't believe. Well, just wait. So 30 years ago, I bought somewhere between 50 and 100 old beat up student flutes off of eBay, and I've been fooling around with them ever since and having a wonderful time. This is a Gretsch American. They are the best. From the 1940s, 1950s. I'm sure Gretsch didn't make it. I have no idea who made them for Gretsch, but they're good and pure bone flutes. But at the same time, junk. The metal in this flute is so bad, I had to replace the head with some other head off an Armstrong or something because it tasted so bad. The metal is this crap metal. They made those cheap silver colored saxophones out of, I don't think it's even plated. I think it's some kind of brass. Anyway, I diapered it completely and clamped it, and it was played very, very well for 5 minutes. And I put up with it for a while. It's handy to have a flute you can practice on without having to brush your teeth or stuff, and not wear out your fine flutes. And an idea somehow occurred to me, and here is what I did. I took the basic fingerboard off of it. You need a screwdriver to do that, no big deal, and you have to unhook the springs. To unhook the springs, you need to pull and push them. You can pull them with a, what do you call this? I'm getting, age has gotten to me. Crochet hook, a little crochet hook. To push them, whittle a notch in the end of a flat toothpick, the fat end of a flat toothpick, and push with it. And I took these, I took off this as 2 pieces, and I took a dish out of the kitchen. This is a little 4-ounce storage dish. It's just 4 ounces, probably even less, and a couple of tongue depressors, which I drilled holes in and put little pieces of wire on, and I wired the pieces to the tongue depressors. The idea was not to let the mechanism get wet, not to let it soak in the starch. It's not good to soak a mechanism. And one of them tended to tip from the weight of the mechanism, and I put a bulldog clip on the end. So, and then I put the whole first Schlungener mess into this to catch the drips. So that's the setup I made, and I just did it in 10 minutes, and I'm sure you could do something better. The reason I'm showing you this, I've only done this once. I have no idea what I'm doing, but it works so well, and I'm not going to do any more for a while because I have other things to do and other flutes. So I want to lay this on you because it will work for you if you need it to work, and I feel for you guys who are dealing with these instruments, and I know some of you are. Otherwise, I wouldn't have 5,000 hits on Flute Leak Remedy, which you should watch before you watch this. So now I'm going to show you a photograph. The reason I showed you all this was because the photographs is darn hard to understand. So now here's the photograph, and this is the dish. You can hardly see it because, of course, it is clear, and these are the mechanisms wired down, and that's the bulldog clip. It's hanging out the back of the dish just so that they won't tip and fall into the mixture. I mixed this stuff, which I found online, costs nothing, of course. Well, 1 tablespoon to a cup of water, and I think probably next time I'll mix with even less. The thicker it is, I assume the harder it is to soak into the pad. The idea is the pads are made of cotton felt, and I'm soaking up the felt. What I'm doing is I'm turning soft pads into hard pads. So I'm soaking up the pads in this stuff. So these keys are completely immersed in the starch mixture, which I mixed in this cup here, and it's just about overflowing into this white thing. And I left it there overnight. The bulldog clip keeps them from falling over and keeps the mechanism up and dry. So I left them overnight. And then in the morning, the next day sometime, I diapered them all. It's easier to diaper on the flute, but you can't do it because you don't want to goop up the flute. So I diapered them all. And these are the original diapers, and you can maybe see they're wrinkly underneath. I probably should take them off and re-diaper, but they're working so well. And put them back on, put them back on, clamped them down, and stood the flute on a flute stand in the chimney corner in a warm, dry place. And left them until it's hard to dry them, because what you have here is you have the keys, of course, are metal, and the pipe thread tape, which they're diapered with. Remember, go back and look at my first presentation for the details on all this. Is airtight. So drying them is just like drying glue in a tube. It takes a while. It took 3 or 4 days in a warm place, and you wouldn't believe this. Here's your problems, of course. You probably know this are E and F. And all of a sudden, this flute is singing rather nicely. I have not done the foot joint, I haven't done the G sharp key, I haven't done the thumb key, and I'm probably not going to for a while. I have other things to do. But I want to lay this on you because it's such a good idea. So there you have it. What else is there to say? I found this online, and I think probably you guys who need this technology, this primitive technology. It's no substitute for real work, of course, but your options for a flute like this do not exist. You can spend $400 for a job in a music store basement, which is not worth it under any circumstances, or you can spend $1,500 for a professional job if you can find a guy who'll do it, and you probably can't, because those guys will refuse to work on this kind of stuff. I don't blame them. And so you're stuck. So starch the pads. Next time I do it, I think what I'll do is you can't see this here, but the pads are held on with a screw. It's called a stud, and a bolt, and a washer. Every pad's held up with a washer, and just outside the washer, there's enough space to put a few pinholes to help the starch to get in better. And I think next time I'll make a few pinholes in between the washer and the impression that the pad makes on the hole in the flute. And because it's being covered with the pipe thread tape, the pinholes won't make any difference, and will allow it to soak up better. So we're making crummy old, beat up, worn out, soft pads into hard pads that fit by this process, and oh boy, what a difference it makes.